Hello and welcome back to Ravindra for Rationalism. Now, when movies based on real life events like Chava are made, they come with a disclaimer that is often missed by the audience. Directors and storytellers exercise their cinematic freedom and creative liberty to make changes to the original story with the objective of making the movie entertaining and gripping. Our history textbooks do not do justice to the rulers and clans of the Deccan and the coastal regions, and there is much that is left untold. Our textbooks need to strike a balance between the history of peninsular India and that of northern India. Now, history is a record of facts from the past which are a result of systematic study, inquiry, investigation, and research, all of which is supported by corroborative evidence. Unlike the director of a movie, it is not the job of the historian to express his opinions or beliefs or evoke emotions or sway public opinion in his favor. Chava is an on screen adaptation of a novel written in Marathi by Shivaji Sawant. Now, Sawant was a teacher, editor, and an author, but not a trained historian. Lakshman Utekar, the director of the movie, was threatened with a lawsuit by the descendants of Ganoji Shirke and Kanhoji Shirke for having portrayed the brothers as traitors who were instrumental in the capture of Sambhaji Maharaj by the Mughal forces. Instead of standing his ground as most historians would do, he immediately apologized to them and assured them that he would go back to books on Maratha history for a fact check and correct himself if necessary. Now, another case in point is the movie The Kerala Story. The makers of this movie initially claimed that thousands of women from Kerala were forced to convert to Islam and join the Islamic State. When asked to provide evidence in support of their claim, the makers brought down the figure to 3 women. This is a classic example of how exaggeration and distortion can be used to influence gullible minds, derive political mileage, and make a quick buck. Chava confirms the dawn of cinema, which leans completely towards extreme right-wing ideology that thrives on brutalizing Mughals and thereby all Muslims. I am not here to defend the atrocities committed by Aurangzeb. He is guilty of committing the most heinous crimes against the Hindus, their heritage, and culture. History has judged him appropriately. He needs to be castigated and will continue to be a festering sore and a blot on Mughal rule in India. Now, in all this, Bollywood seems to have found a formula to rain money at the box office. The formula is to first find personalities and instances of Muslims or Muslim rulers from history who were out to destroy Indian culture and heritage and force their religion and religious practices on the Hindus. This is then portrayed in the most abhorrent and repulsive ways so that mass hysteria can be stirred up among the present day Hindus against the Muslims. Now, Hindus who walk out of the theater after watching Chava would have their blood boiling with hatred for the Muslims. I was wondering if Muslims can watch Chava in a theater and walk out without being looked at with disdain and vengeance by fellow Hindus. Again, some or most of what was depicted may have truth in it. But how far is it right to rub salt on old wounds of the Hindus and reopen them? Are we on the lookout for a Hindu Aurangzeb? Now, how will this make us better people or citizens? Do movies like Chava not stain the social fabric of India and lead to widespread unrest among the people? We are living in an atmosphere that is already communally polarized. The last thing we need is for cinema to further reinforce it. Now, contrast Chava with Jodha Akbar, which was made in 2008. Jodha Akbar, which brought out how far Emperor Akbar was willing to stretch himself to accommodate the Rajputana culture and heritage in his palace, was an instant hit with the Hindus as well as Muslims. Jodha, a Rajput princess, was the longest serving Hindu empress of the Mughal Empire with a tenure of 43 years. Now, though Akbar had many Muslim wives, Jahangir, born to Jodha, acceded to the throne after Akbar. Had Aurangzeb not got his eldest brother Dara Shikoh killed, history would have taken a different turn. Dara Shikoh was a liberal minded Muslim who learned Sanskrit and translated 50 Upanishads into Persian so that they could be studied by Muslim scholars. His aim was to bring about a synthesis between Islam and Hinduism. For his liberal views, Dara Shikoh was persecuted and executed. Movies based on such historical facts would promote communal harmony and build trust and confidence in one community among the other communities. But is anybody listening? Now, I doubt if movies like Jodha Akbar, Oh My God, and PK would receive the same kind of reception, applause, and money at the box office today. But the more important question is, does Bollywood have the gumption to make such movies in the present times? Even if somebody dare make one, will it see the light of the day? Would the right wing nationalist Hindus allow it to be released or screened? Who would want to sink huge amount of money in a project that is destined to doom? Do the Bollywood storytellers, directors, and producers find their artistic freedom curtailed and stifled? Has Bollywood now stopped thinking out of the box? Thank you for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ravindra for Rationalism.